Welcome, it's Joe Volpe, publisher of Corriere Canadese and North America's only Italian-language daily newspaper. It's a community newspaper, a niche newspaper, and it's on this theme that we make our comment today. The publishing business, newspaper business, is in trouble, as everywhere else. But there's some interesting data, and we think that this is a case where community newspapers and their potential offer an opportunity for advertisers, governments, that they have constantly been overlooked. And that's the comment of the day. The comment is simply this: journalism and issues and opportunities. One can tire quickly of vacuous statements by people in positions of authority who blather on and on about the importance of a free press to the democratic process or to community building. Those in a financial position to make a difference in both cases put their money where their mouth is. Otherwise, it's meaningless. There's usually a good return, democratically and commercially. News Media Canada reports that the community newspaper readers respond to advertising exposure, citing 6 different actions that reflect engagements by readers, from 45% to 68% responsiveness. Now, News Media Canada is the industry representative. Community newspapers, according to News Media Canada, are the most effective vehicle for delivering relevant information to those it will most impact. In 2016, for example, they generated $834,386,000 in advertising across Canada. Sounds like a fabulous number. There are 1,032 member titles, mastheads. So that represents an average of $808,513 per masthead annually. And that's augmented by an additional $39 million plus, or $38,607 for each one, from online advertising generated by their digital presence. The Corriere Canadese, for example, takes a look at some of those, and they said, okay, the ethnic media, or pardon me, the community media, they have 1,032 mastheads, and they sell $733,000 per week. Keep those numbers in mind. The National Ethnic Press and Media Council of Canada, which represents 7 million Canadians, 22% of Canada's population, outside the orbit of the nominal mainstream press and media, of which we are a member, is on the cusp of generating similar verifiable data as those by the News Media Canada. It's not unreasonable to suggest that the National Ethnic Press and Media Council's membership data will reflect statistics in the range of 33% of those cited by National Media Canada. They're complementary, not competitive or adversarial organizations. Corriere Canadese is already much bigger than any of the single members of the national media, the News Media Canada group, at least from a paid circulation point of view, and from a total reader's perspective, calculated annually. As noted in our edition on Thursday, Corriere has a verifiable, unaudited minimum of 1.5 million readers in its print format. 1.5 million readers in its print format, and a further 3 million in digital replicative format and social media. That gives the newspaper 4.5 million readers, all of them verifiable. At our lowest paid weekly distribution, Corriere's reach is as large as Toronto Star's entire Metroland Media Group's 106 titles. The country's largest group by paid circulation, Post Media Network, at 52,801, only has an average of sales per week, only has an average of 530 copies sold per title per week. They're 1/30th of our size. And even the redoubtable Snap newspaper grouping's 72 titles around Canada, on average, can only manage to distribute 10,000 free copies each per week. Our hard copy readership, like that of many of our associates in the National Ethnic Press and Media Council, is mature, it's accomplished, middle-aged and beyond, professional or entrepreneurial, with an above-average and above-median net worth. In other words, the type of people who buy goods and services are in succession planning and who take pride in fulfilling civic obligations. Yeah, they vote. Our online readers and social media followers fit the typical profile of that demographic that uses the latest communications technology. In other words, they're relatively young and upwardly mobile. Even compared to other media in the Italian ethnic community, Corriere Canadese towers above the fray. The main radio television outlet, CHIN, does not, maybe it cannot, produce verifiable audience figures. Ask them how many people listen. The latest Facebook analytics indicate a mere 10 postings per week. That's for all of their programs, all of their languages. 10 per week, and only 6,100 likes for all of their programs to date. Corriere Canadese generates an average of 30 original posts per week, often more. Together with our companion Nossa TV, it has received 7,100 likes since last September. Tele-Latino Network commissioned a study from Numeris in 2018 to assess the viewership of Omni News. The results posted on the CRTC website suggest that only 1,100 viewers spent time watching Omni's newscast. Our Go Live news commentary has generated 181,500 views since last September. Its associated Facebook views exceed a further 250,000. TLN, for its part, produces no audited data in support of its own viewership. Today's Facebook analytics indicate that it has no posts in the last week and a cumulative total of 108 likes. Now, there are other weeklies, monthlies, or vanity magazines currying the favor of those with disposable incomes to engage in self-promotion. It's a legitimate exercise. But there's no verifiable data as to readership. They're all distributed free, and they use a matrix that not everybody accepts. Governments, consciously or otherwise, move away from advertising government plans and projects in these mediums that are distributed free, whether they're ethnic or not. The outcome is to denigrate the serious press and to try to starve it to death, or more recently, start to establish their own friendly network agencies, propaganda arms, and to be blunt, like Ontario News. There's a better way. Corriere Canadese's audited numbers suggest a readership that is both significantly reflective and responsive. Our numbers prove it, and our numbers are verifiable. I wanted to say all of that because it's important for me as a publisher to say this. Thank you to all of our readers, to all of our viewers. You're making the reporting easier and the production much more enjoyable. Follow us online at corriere.ca, download the Go Live TV app, and of course, pick up the newspaper and read it. Everybody else is. Ciao.